How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Hello and welcome to or welcome back to Mystery Inc. My name is Richie, and today we've got another C.R.O.W. Files book review for you, and we're talking about book number 2, Year.Book. Alright, Year.Book. Let's start with the back cover here. Say cheese. Max thought yearbooks were supposed to save memories, but when his school unveils Memoir, a digital yearbook powered by artificial intelligence, things get weird. Fast. Faces blur. Names vanish. Friends go missing, and no one remembers they ever existed. Only Max can see the truth. The more Memoir perfects the past, the more it rewrites reality. Now his best friends are fading one by one. To save them, Max will have to break into the school servers, outsmart an AI that knows his every move, and dig up a secret the school buried long, long ago. Alright, Year.Book. So, we have our main character, Max, here. He is part of the yearbook club. The school is transitioning into using this AI platform to function as like the yearbook and some other kind of stuff, it seems like. We start out on picture day. Everybody's getting their picture taken by this AI platform thing. And we know that his friend Lucas specifically really doesn't like it. I don't remember exactly why. But anyway, after this all gets done with, he ends up meeting up with his friend Sarah, and Lucas seems to have just disappeared somewhere. He doesn't know where or what happened to him. And so a few days go by, and Lucas just seems to have disappeared. He keeps talking with Sarah about it. He mentions it to a few other people, but everyone else he talks to seems to not remember Lucas. It seems to be only Max and Sarah that can remember him for some reason. And this kind of continues in a loop for a bit. He ends up going and talking to his friend's parents, and they remember Max, but they don't remember their son. And they claim that his bedroom is a storage room or something like that. And then something similar starts happening with their friend Avi, who just starts disappearing. And eventually Lucas notices that this is happening to a lot of people. So he keeps logging into this program, and he comes across these file logs that show, each individual person at the school. It says that they're being processed, but everyone that seems to be in the yearbook club keep getting this error message and saying that, the processing failed. They're attempting, to retry. And the people that are disappearing are at like the maximum tries. This ends up happening to the teacher that's over the yearbook program, Mrs. Caulfield as well. So eventually he manages to sneak in to, I forget exactly what it was, but he like resets the system, trying to see if that'll fix it. He doesn't know what's going on. There's something supernatural happening here where this program is erasing people, not just from, the files, but from reality as well. And then he resets this, and Sarah, who previously was okay, now she starts disappearing. And all this time, Max is kind of like suspended, and his thing isn't processing at all. We don't really know what's going on there. He ends up going downstairs. He has to, get in by tricking this IT guy to get access to the Memoir mainframe, where it might have higher accesses, and he goes there to try and reset things, trying desperately to find a way to reverse what's happening to his friends and save them before it's too late. And that's about all I'm going to give you. There's some twist at the end. Interesting, although it felt a little bit lacking compared to some of the later books in the series here. This is the second book, so it's still a little bit in the learning period for our author, Nath here. Definitely an improvement over the first book, but not as good as some of the later books, which, makes sense. Okay, negatives about this book. So I don't want to, get too deep into it because I've talked about it in every book review for this series so far. There's a lot of grammatical and editing errors. Like commas in the wrong place. There's an instance where Sarah's last name is referred to as Henderson, and then like on a different page she's referred to by a different last name just once. And her correct name, Henderson, is referred to several other times throughout the book. There's one instance where the word bought is used instead of brought. There's one sentence where like the word the is like in the wrong spot. It should be in front of a word instead of behind it to make the sentence make sense. So again, I bought all these books at the same time, so I don't know if they've been edited at all since I bought them. I bought them back in March. It's been about 2 months now, month and a half. But yeah, if the author hasn't already done so, Nathan, if you're watching, if you haven't already done so, I'd really recommend just going back through all of these books, before you continue the series. Give them all a reread. Get somebody else to give them a reread. Write down all of the issues here and fix these so that, new books that are going out, people that are getting copies of these books are not, running into what I'm running into, which is a lot of, like I said, editing errors. I kind of want to go back through all the ones I've read so far and just write down everything I've noticed, which I may do at some point, but I haven't had a lot of free time to do something like that. But because all in all, these stories, especially, I mean, this one was really good. It had some issues with the pacing. I feel like this was a fairly long book. I think it's longer than the rest of the books by maybe 10, 20 pages. Not sure. It feels thicker. It looks thicker. I would have to go back and look at the page counts, but this one felt like it could have been a little bit shorter, and that might have made it better. The first half of the book was a little bit drawn out. Kind of all the same, like going back and forth. Lucas is missing this, that Lucas is missing, etc., etc. And things kind of picked up about halfway through, and it got a lot better towards the end. We did have a resolution of the story. It was a little bit weird, and I don't know if it necessarily was the best payoff. It made sense. It felt like it was missing a little bit of something, especially with the blurb on the back cover saying the secret that was buried. I don't want to give that away, but it was an enjoyable read. I definitely thought it was better than the first book. It was definitely an improvement, but other than that, it's been probably my least favorite of all the ones I've read so far, other than book one. So book one, book two, really, I'm thinking about it. I'd have to double check my rankings, but I think that every book later in the series has been an improvement on the earlier books. Because I think my favorite was book 8, then book 7, book 4, book 2, and then book 1 at the bottom. So it seems like a good trend. Everything's improving. Obviously, I've got several more books kind of in the middle span there to read. We'll see if that holds true. And then, I mean, if that is in fact the case, then that that would be pretty good for the e-scooter books. Book 1 is out of that. I guess it's going to be a duology or something, I'm thinking. I don't know. E-scooter Apocalypse, and then the 10th book, which is the second one in that mini series within the C.R.O.W files, has not released yet, at least at the time of recording. I'm imagining it's probably going to come out this month or early in May, but anyway, let's get to the star rankings on this book. I'll give you my in-depth thoughts on those categories, and then we'll wrap this one up. So the characters, we've only got a couple of characters here that play a significant role. We have, obviously, Max and Sarah. Probably are the two biggest. We have Mrs. Caulfield that shows up a little bit, and then there's Ron, who's the IT guy. I think his name was Ron. He's not around for a lot. And then we have Max's parents, mostly his dad, play a little minor role. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of characters. There's AV, but a lot of background characters, I should say. So yeah, as far as main characters go, Max and Sarah, and maybe Miss Caulfield, she plays a little bit bigger of a role. They were all good. I didn't have any issues with any of the characters. They were, spot on, well written, behaved sensibly, I guess, considering the setting and what's going on here. So yeah, I give 5 stars out of 5. Atmosphere in the book, I only gave this one a 2. It was pretty good. There was a lot of anxiety with Max, not knowing what's going on. Like all these pictures blurring and him being the only one that can remember things that are happening. But this one, other than, the thing with the dog switching genders in the first book, this one had the most editing and grammatical errors that I've come across in any of the 5 books I've read so far. So that there were several places where that really just brought me out of the story, and it was kind of frustrating. I was expecting some based on the other books that I've read, but this one was, yeah, there were a lot of them, and though I think what even made it worse is I didn't really notice any issues in like the first half of the book. It was all in the latter half of the book when I ran into a bunch of these issues, and so that I dropped the atmosphere down for that because, like I said, it took me out of the story quite a bit. Plot and twist. The plot was solid. I think the twist was good. I think it could have been a lot better, and I don't know if it necessarily was the right payoff, I should say. No, that's not right. That's incorrect. It was the correct payoff. It just wasn't delivered in the best way. We didn't get enough explanation. We spent too much time earlier in the book with kind of just like plodding along, trying to get to this point, and then the ending was a little bit rushed. The explanation, for the twist could have been a little bit better, a little bit longer, a little bit more meat to that, which I think would have just bumped it up to 5-star for me. The twist was good, though, I think. Just, there wasn't enough of it. And then the very ending twist, I did not necessarily see coming, and I thought it was good. It was very clever. I enjoyed that. Pacing and intrigue, I've kind of talked about that a little bit already. It was kind of intriguing. I wanted to know more about this memoir thing, why it was doing what it was doing, which we didn't necessarily get an explanation on how it was doing this or why it was doing this. And like I said, the first half of the book was a bit drawn out. Definitely got better later on. I only gave it a 2-star because, like I said, the pacing wasn't great, and the intrigue was there, didn't really fully get paid off on. Enjoyment, I gave this one a 3-star, and again, I did enjoy this book. I liked the concept. I liked the twist and where things were going with it. I just didn't, I don't know, like I said, a lot of the editing issues not only brought the atmosphere down, but also just the overall enjoyment for me. There was a little bit of humor in this one. It wasn't like particularly funny, but there were a couple of moments between Max and his dad, especially. There was a bit of joking and some humor there, so I gave it a 1-star on that. And that brought us to an overall score of 3.4 out of 5, which is good enough for 3.5 stars. Putting it solidly between Face in the Filter and Ghost Kitchen for me. And yeah, so it was okay. Could have been better. Mostly if it had just been, proofread a bit better and a bit edited better. Would have, brought it up on atmosphere and enjoyment for me. Probably would have gotten a 4. Maybe even better than 4. But that's Year.Book. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Have you read any of the books in the series at all yet? If so, which one has been your favorite? And yeah, I'm not sure which one we're going to read next. I've got the Fear Factory books, which we're going to jump into the first one there, and then I want to do another Goosebumps book, and then I might, I think I'm going to do the original version of the first Hardy Boys book. We did the revised edition of that a few weeks back. And then I've got just a whole ton of other books on my list of things to read. But the next Crow Files book we're going to do, we've only got a couple left. We've got 404 Family Not Found, which is book 3, The Sharing, which is book 5. I'm still gonna wait on E-Scooter Apocalypse until the direct sequel to that one comes out, which is book 10. Probably read those two together back to back. And is that all of them, or am I forgetting one? 7, 8. I have to be forgetting one. I can't think of what it is right now, but the Christmas one, Automated Christmas, I think. So yeah, I'm not sure which one we're going to read next. I really want to read The Sharing. That one had like the most interesting concept of the ones I haven't touched yet, but maybe I'll save that one, maybe I won't. Let me know your thoughts, which one you'd like to see next of the ones I haven't read yet. But for now, that's going to wrap this one up. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll catch you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. God bless, and we'll see you in the next video.